Welcome to our advanced listening test. Before we begin, I have some instructions on how you are going to act in this exam practice. Listen carefully to the next sections and be ready to embark on our journey to master your proficiency skills. This lesson will help you master your ability to understand spoken English as well as help you to speak like a pro. Now listen to the directions. Good luck for you. Listening skill 1. Understand the gist. Gist questions are questions that ask about the overall ideas of a passage as a whole. They may ask what the subject, topic, or main idea of a passage is. They may also ask what overall purpose the passage serves. It is important to understand that the gist of a passage may be directly stated in the passage, or you may have to synthesize, bring together information from different parts of the passage to understand the overall gist. Look at an example of a part of a listening passage.
Example: Listening Skill 1. Listen as a student talks to his advisor.
I see that a comprehensive exam is required for my major, and I'm not exactly sure what a comprehensive exam is.
A comprehensive exam is an exam that you take in the final quarter of your studies. Its purpose is to determine your overall competency.
How is this comprehensive exam different from a final exam?
A final exam covers all the material taught in a specific course. A comprehensive exam, on the other hand, covers all of the materials taught in the entire program.
And it's true that the comprehensive exam is required for my major? It's not an option?
No, it's not an option. A comprehensive exam isn't required for all majors at this university, but it is required for your major. Sorry, it's not optional.
After you listen to the conversation, the question and answer choices appear on your screen as the narrator states the question. This is a gist question that asks about the purpose of the passage.
Number 1. Why does the student go to see the advisor?
In the conversation, the student says, I see that a comprehensive exam is required for my major, and I'm not exactly sure what a comprehensive exam is. From this, it can be determined that the student goes to see his advisor in order to learn about a requirement for his major. The third answer is therefore the best answer to this question. Now look at an example of another type of gist question. This gist question asks about the overall topic of the passage.
Number 2. What is the topic of this conversation?
In the conversation, the student says, I see that a comprehensive exam is required for my major and I'm not exactly sure what a comprehensive exam is. And the professor says, a comprehensive exam isn't required for all majors at this university, but it is required for your major. From this, it can be determined that the topic of the conversation is the exam requirement for a specific major. So the last answer is therefore the best answer to this question.
Listening Exercise 1. Passage 1. Questions 1 and 2. Listen to a conversation between a student and a professor.
Professor, I have a question about taking the engineering course that you'll be teaching. I already took this course once, but I didn't do very well in it, and I'd like to take it over again.
Why do you want to try it again? Do you think you can do better this time?
Well, I understood about half of the material last time, and if I concentrate on the rest of the material, I think I can do much better next time.
It's possible to repeat a course to try for a higher grade as long as the appropriate form is filled out.
I've got the form right here, and I've already filled out most of it. All I need is your signature at the bottom.
That's fine. You really do seem prepared. Give me the form and I'll sign it.
Number 1. Why does the student go to see the professor? Number 2. What does the student want to do? Passage 2. Questions 3 and 4. Listen as a student visits a university office.
I have a problem, and I hope you can help.
What's your problem?
I haven't received my grade report from last quarter, and my friends have already received their grade reports.
Grade reports from last quarter were mailed out 2 weeks ago. You haven't received yours yet?
No, I haven't.
Did you move in the last quarter? Has your address changed? Maybe the grade report went to the wrong address.
No, I'm still in the same place. I haven't moved. The address should be accurate.
And did you take all of your final exams? If you missed an exam, then your grade report would be held up.
No, I took all my exams.
Then, you should have received your grade report by now. Give me a moment, please, and I'll look your grade report up in the computer system and see if I can figure out what the problem is.
Thanks very much for your help.
Number 3. Why does the student go to the office? Number 4. What is the topic of the conversation? Passage 3. Questions 5 and 6. Listen to some students having a discussion.
Okay, let's see where we are on this project for geography class. Our presentation's in 2 days, and I hope we're almost ready.
I hope so too. We were each going to look up information about a different lake, with an emphasis on how each lake was formed, and we'll each present information on that lake to the class. My job was to look up information on Lake Superior, and I've done that.
I've done my research on the Caspian Sea.
And I'm ready with information about Lake Baikal.
Great. I'll go first. I'll be discussing the Caspian Sea, which is the largest inland body of water in the world. The Caspian Sea is a saltwater lake between Europe and Asia. It is believed that this lake was originally connected to the world's oceans, which would account for its saltwater content. As the Earth's plates moved, this arm of the ocean was cut off.
Well, here's what I found on Lake Superior. Lake Superior is, of course, one of the Great Lakes in North America, and it's the largest freshwater lake in the world. Along with the other Great Lakes, it was formed by glaciers. Glaciers covered the northern part of North America until 10,000 years ago and were responsible for carving out the Great Lakes, including Lake Superior.
Okay, now for Lake Baikal, which is the lake I'll be discussing. Lake Baikal's in Russia, and it was formed when the Earth's crust broke apart at a fault. Because Lake Baikal formed over a split in the Earth's crust, it's a very deep lake, the deepest lake in the world. Lake Baikal's so deep that, even though its surface area is much smaller than the surface area of Lake Superior, it could hold the water of all the Great Lakes combined.
Well, it looks like we've all found information about each of these lakes, and in particular, how they were formed. Now we need to talk about how we can present the information to the rest of the class.
Number 5. What are the students discussing? Number 6. Why are the students discussing this material? Passage 4. Questions 7 and 8. Listen as a professor leads a class discussion.
Today, instead of lecturing, I'm going to start out by taking questions. You all know that the exam's tomorrow, so today I'd like to spend time talking about whatever's unclear to you. Yes, Anne, what's your question?
I've got a question about the theories of Redfield and Espy. I understand that they were meteorologists. American meteorologists in the 19th century, and that they had different theories about how storms behave. But I'm not quite sure I really understand the two theories. Could you explain them again?
Okay. It's true that William Redfield and James Espy were two 19th century meteorologists, and they had different theories on the behavior of storms. Espy argued that centripetal force was at work in storms. Anne, do you understand what direction the winds would be moving if centripetal force were involved?
I think so. Centripetal force would cause winds to move inward from all directions toward the center of the storm. But that's not what really happens during a storm, is it? Winds don't move inward toward the center of the storm.
That's right, Anne. Espy's theory was that centripetal force pushed the winds of a storm inward toward the center from all directions. But this theory hasn't proven very accurate. Now, the other meteorologist was Redfield. Did Redfield agree or disagree with Espy?
I know that Redfield disagreed with Espy, but I'm not quite sure how.
Can someone else explain what Redfield believed? What about you, Chris?
Sure. Redfield argued that the winds in a storm rotated around the center of the storm, so the winds would be moving in a circular path. And he believed that the winds moved in a counterclockwise direction, which means that they moved in the opposite direction from the direction that a clock moves.
Yes, that's correct. Is that clear to you, Anne?
So, Espy believed that centripetal force caused winds to move inward toward the center of a storm. And, Redfield believed that the winds in a storm moved in a counterclockwise direction.
Exactly. Now for the most important question. We've already said that Espy's theory on how the winds in a storm behave wasn't very accurate. What about Redfield's theory? Was his theory accurate or inaccurate? Anne?
I think Redfield's description was quite close to what actually happens in a storm.
That's right. Now, who has another question?
Number 7. What is the topic of this discussion? Number 8. Why is this topic being discussed?